The number of Africans migrating to the U.S. is also on the rise. Their large numbers have led to the formation of groups such as the African People's Action Congress, which aims to inform U.S. policymakers about issues of concern to the African immigrant community. Chuks Elionu is the president and founder of the African PAC, the oldest African umbrella organization in the U.S.
A cornerstone of our mission is to educate the people, whether they be immigrants or American citizens. Now, a lot of these immigrants have children here. Those children are American citizens. Nonetheless, a lot of them are not registered to vote. Whether or not you have the ability to vote in this country, we feel that you still have a stake in it. Most people have homes here, most people have businesses here, and I'm talking about Africans now. So if you have all these things, all of which get affected by a decision we make in a political, so whether it be McCain or Obama, all of their decisions will end up affecting you. So we need to pay a little bit more attention.
The African community is not the largest of the immigrant community here in the United States. How do you get policymakers to cater to the African community, considering that they're not the largest?
You're very right. We are the third largest of the immigrant population. So you have your Latinos being number one, and then the Asian population being number two. Africans make up about 5–6% of the immigrant population in the U.S. So nonetheless, what we're doing is to clearly make the case that Africans commit less crime than any other immigrant group. Africans actually invest, they just don't do the investment as a community or as a collective. So those are the kinds of cases that we make. But as I mentioned earlier in one of your previous questions, one of the remarkable things that I believe policymakers are beginning to understand is that beyond the confusion as to whether we are African Americans or not, there is now beginning to be that clear understanding that despite the fact that you may call us African Americans, we do have other issues beyond the African American community.
Do you lobby in terms of trying to effect some of these changes that will impact positively on the African community here that you're trying to assist?
We do not lobby politicians specifically to change legislation, but we do focus groups, we do studies. As a media person, one of the challenges you will find about Africans in the diaspora is there's no data. Most of the data out there are not data that are germane to the African community issues. So we do those kind of things, and then we push it out there and say, hey, look at it this way. An example would be the current administration's No Child Left Behind Act. When you look at that act, it affects African Americans a lot. But then if you dissect it and take the African American component and just try to study it, you'll find out that Africans are actually being marginalized, because when you look at the No Child Left Behind, Africans graduate top of their classes. But when you look at it from a greater black community, that data doesn't show. Nobody ever points to that. So we're now beginning to show policymakers how they could use this data to be able to not only benefit the African American community, but to also make sure that the right programs and services are inured to the African community.
What are the challenges that you've been encountering in trying to go about accomplishing the mission of your organization?
Getting Africans themselves to understand the need to come together, to work together, and to speak with one voice. That is our biggest challenge right now. The second is one that is unique to any community, and that is one of funding. We don't have a lot of funding backing from the foundations and the various businesses. The third is what I consider to be the fear in the American community. But that third challenge there is one of changing the mindset of people that no immigrant in these United States, especially African immigrants, are here to undermine the interest and the territorial integrity of the United States. Most of us are here to actually be a part and parcel of it. And the challenge is to get Americans to open up